Hello, my name is Drew Pickles and today I am going to continue my run in the World Series of Poker main event. In the likely event you don't remember anything about this, the reason why I am doing this is because I want to win the main event bracelet so I can shove it up my ass like a dildo in the ultimate flex against my rivals in the Screw Scouts, the Nega Barney Bunch, and the Repulsor Republic, and also just because it will feel really super swell. Also, as a recap of my first day, I busted some people, both in the terms of busting them out of the tournament and in terms of busting their anal virginity like a and got a big stack, well in terms of chips at least. Obviously I have a big 300-mile long stack anyway, but that's besides the point. Anyways, let's move on to day 2, and see what swellness ends up happening. When I wake up in the morning, I'll feel like P. Diddy, got my glasses and gonna hit the city, and all the asses in it. But anyways, I will have a super swell continental breakfast and shove the bananas up my ass like dildos and also stick my dick in the waffle iron like a justice seeker. I'm going to come all over you for writing me into doing this in the script. What kind of piece of shit script is this? Fuck off and leave me be. Bag. I just made my own swell waffle and then I will eat it like num. This is swell. Num bag. That last swell and then I will leave my hotel and go to the main event hotel, because for some reason my antics of the previous day didn't get me perma-banned, and then go to my table, seat 1 in table 11, the straightest number in the straightest table, and I will get sick at being near this much straight stuff like and then everyone else will come back and they will shuffle out and deal and the poker game will resume and nothing too interesting will happen for the first couple orbits, until I get dealt pocket 3s from the hijack position and under the gun will raise 3 big blinds and under the gun plus 1 and 2 will call and so will 1 middle position player so I will call as well to try and set mine in also, because 3 is how long my cock is in hundreds of miles and the blinds will also call so we will go 6 ways to a flop and, to my delight, the flop will come as come jack 7-3 rainbow and I will have bottom 7 a dry board, and while slow playing is an option I will decide to bet when action checks to me and will make a bet of about a third pot hoping that with so many people involved at least one person has something and unfortunately only the big blind will call, while everyone else folds but at least I get some value and then the turn will be a king, which isn't ideal since it makes single jack X hands have a harder time hanging around, but I will bet about a third pot again anyways to try and milk some value out of them when the big blind checks again, but to my surprise, he will check raise for about half a stack. And normally, in a spot like this I would flat call here to keep his bluffs and overplayed top pairs and make it so I don't only get called by strong 2 pairs and sets, the latter of which have me smoked, and which is a real risk if I make another raise. However, since he's basically committed himself with that raise, I will shove on him like all in all, and he will call and table king jack suited, and I will think of 1 king when I see his king so I will masturbate and come like a I would have been banned from this event if this was real bag. That was quite swell, and what is also quite swell is that the river will be another 7, giving me a full house and not letting him retake the lead with a better house so I will win the hand also, and I will offer to shake his hand to be a good sport after busting him like shake, but he will say no thanks, it has come all over it so I will say oh really, give me a second and then I will lick it off like bag. That lost well and he will be about to say he still doesn't want to shake it, when a voice will interrupt us and berate him for overplaying king jack and we will look for the source and see Tony G, not the cheer Tony G, who is my personal fun buddy and coaches the local cheer squad Dick the Clown plays poker with, but the obnoxious one from poker who constantly tells people their play is bad, tells them to get on their bike, and just acts super obnoxious in general and I will tell him to back off, as the guy just lost and is already pissed like but he will tell the guy who lost to get on his bike and me as well, if I am defending him and I will say I have already gotten on the unibike thank you very much and it sounded like a and he will roll his eyes and say whatever, soon you'll get on your bike in a figurative sense as well. When I bust you from the tournament you wander and I will say yes I am a wanderer and proud like a bag. That loss well and he will roll his eyes and take a seat at my table, as he is being transferred to fill the seat of the guy who I busted and I will take my seat again as well and play will continuing. A few hands afterwards I will look down at pocket jack me offs, I mean pocket jacks from middle position and action will fold to me and I will raise 3 times the big blind and the button will flat my bet and then Tony G in the small blind will 3 bet me to 12 bigs and I will just flat call in position as the button folds and the flop will come as auto. Come 8-4 to 2 diamonds, which is all undercards to my jack now off, so when Tony G continuation bets a third the pot I will call, since, while he could have an overpair I still beat unpaired hands and then the turn will come an offsuit king and he will bet pot and the king will be a concern but I will call anyways thinking, if he had a king he would bet smaller for value and he is bluffing and then the river will be another king making it less likely Tony G has a king and he will overbet shove all in and I will think for a second, and then decide to hero call, since I figure he is in a busted diamond drawing would bet smaller with 3 kings but to my disgust he will turn over king jack and scoop the pot and then taunt me for overplaying jiggities like a fucking moron and say I'm going to get in my bike sooner than he thought and I will say what the fuck, you have no right to bitch at me, since you overplayed king jack and gave that last guy shit for supposedly doing the exact same thing like that last guy and what he has. Fuck, I didn't flop a set with pocket 8s or bluff with this king or king queen when he checked the flop and had him outkicked, as I would play those exactly the same and he will say make whatever excuse you want, you're just a fish who overplayed pocket jacks which only rookies do and I will then get super pissed off and smack him in the face with my cup like smack 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 smack. The uploader hates Tony G and wishes someone would smack him in real life to shut him the fuck up. Smack 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 smack. Egg that lava. Consequences of instigating me, you cocky amateur cocky shit, and just then someone else will call the floor over and rat in me for smacking Tony, because poker players are pussies who make me sicker than the anatomical pussy and often gang up on people when they were the ones who were wronged. Not saying I should get away with smacking someone, but Tony should also get punished for antagonizing me, but instead the floor will give me a 1 orbit penalty and force me to sit out, so I will ask why it's an orbit, and if it's because they are obsessed with orbiting Tony's anus and kissing it like the moon of Uranus, so they will make it a 2 orbit penalty and ask if I want to go for 3 and I will say no and leave the table, and as I do Tony will dickishly wave me goodbye and everyone will clap and cheer like me. And I will mentally put them on my shit hit list, which is a list of people I am to hit which shit, and then I will go to a corner of the poker room and pull my pants down and start masturbating to pass the time like a Tony is going to pay for this in cash. Bag that loss well, and then the floor manager will come over and say what the fuck is going on here. I mean your penalty period is up, come back to the table. And normally I would puke at him saying period, but I will be too pissed and instead will just go back to the table and sit down, and Tony will ask if I had a good bike ride and I will say looks like the only one who could use a bike ride yourself, you fucking fattest. Because, while fat shaming is bad, I am pissed and want to hit him where it hurts, and then the rest of the table will tell me to shut up, and I will pull a box of condoms out of my pocket and put it on the table and knock my chips over in the process, and then say, if they want to suck Tony's dick so much maybe these will help them, and they will protest, but I will ignore them and restack my chips, and then play will resume and the beat against Tony will still be fresh in my mind, but at the same time I have busted 3 players before, so my chip stack will still be above 30,000, which is a lot for this stage of the tournament, and nothing else will happen besides me picking up a couple pots by raising in light position and having the blinds fold until I am dealt the red pocket aces under the gun plus 2, so when action folds to me I will raise 3 times the big blind and the cutoff will call, and so will Tony, so we will go 3 ways to a flop of queen, jack, 5. With 2 hearts, which isn't totally ideal, but I should still be good more often than not and want to charge draws in any case, so I will continuation bet to get value for about half pot, and the other caller will fold but Tony G will call, and then the turn will come out an offsuit 10, which gives me a gut shot to the Broadway straight rag straight, but actually isn't all that good, since queen 10, jack 10, and some straights get there, so I will check out of position for pot control, and Tony G will quickly bet 3/4 pot. This will be an uncomfortable spot for me, but I still have an overpair and have underwrecked my hand, so I will call and hope to see a good river, but it will be anything but that, as a fucking offsuit 9 hits, putting 4 to a straight in the board and making it so I lose to even more to pair combos as well as any king or 8. This situation will suck balls, and I should know, as I have sucked many balls before like blur, so I will check to Tony, and, of course, he will bet very large quite quickly, putting me in a very tough situation. Part of me will want to call, since the heart draw missed and his quick bet makes me think he's bluffing. But since I have the ace of hearts in my hand, it will be a blocker to ace high flush draws, making it less likely he had a flush draw to call me with. Not to mention I am smoked by so many to pairs and sets it isn't funny, and Tony could just as easily called to hit a straight draw or with a hand like king jack or king queen which rivered a straight. Not to mention the last time he bet this big he was stronger than the super sexy hunk of a man, Superman. And by the way, the S in Superman's shirt stands for swell, because, well, you know already. Regardless, as I am thinking over what to do, Tony G will call clock on me for taking too long to think, and I will protest, as it hasn't even been 3 minutes and this is a big decision, but the floor manager will say I have 1 minute to make a decision or my hand is dead, and I will ask if I can at least have 69 seconds instead, but he will say protest more and it will be 30, so I will think and think and think and think and think and masturbate to help me think better and think and think and think and think, and then they will start counting down from 10 to indicate I have 10 seconds left, and as the number gets down to 3 I will fold me his face up, and then Tony will flip up 5-6 of hearts for a busted heart draw and remark about how swell it was he bluffed me as he collects the chips from me, and this will get me super pissed off, so I will walk over to him and say that when you call clock around me, especially that quick, you get something else that rhymes with it, and before he can react I will smack him again with my cop like smack 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 smack. People who show their bluffs with the express intent of tilting people deserve the smack 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 smack. When the uploader bluffs, and he definitely does bluff, he doesn't show, unless it's a family game, smack 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 smack. This is both because he doesn't want to come off as a dick, and also because he'd like to preserve his tight table image so he can pull a bluff off later on and not get called light smack 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 bag. You deserve that, you fucking asshead. And just then the floor will come over to me and send me on another 2-orbit penalty for assaulting Tony, and the simps at the table will again cheer like me. And I will go over to the corner again and masturbate like a I still have a reasonable stack, but I should have more. I want revenge on Tony so fucking bad. Swa 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 so see. Swa swa bag that was swell, and then I will return to the table and Tony will mock me again and I will tell him to shut up, but a couple table simps will tell me to leave him alone because he is way more cooler than me, and I will say the only cool thing here is the nice cool glass of piss of mine you'll all be drinking if you don't stop simping like pathetic piss asses who haven't been laid ever. And then Tony will try and bray me again, but I will ignore him and play will continue, and I will lose a couple more small pots by raising before the flop with high cards and getting shit middle connected boards forcing me to check fold to their bets. But then maybe an hour after I return I will get dealt Jack King of suit from the hijack, better known as the bachelor's hand, because it is literally jacking off, and normally this would make me ultra super horny, but I will be too pissed at Tony and want revenge, so I will raise 3 bigs when action folds to me, and Tony will again 3-bet from the blinds, and while King Jack is easily dominated likes to pickles. During our BDSM roleplay I will call anyways, because I am in position, and in any case I am in the Brad Owen revenge range, so I must play this hand, and the flop will come King Jack deuce rainbow giving me top to pair, and when Tony G checks I will bet a 3rd pot and Tony will call. The turn will be the 7 of diamonds putting 2 diamonds out there, and Tony will again check. And since I have top to pair and want to charge draws and King X holdings like King Queen, I will size up to about 60% pot to get more value and set myself up to potentially shove all in the river. And then Tony G will ask me how much I have in my stack, and I will tell him, and he will say he bets that much and will forcefully put the chips in the middle and then don a fake smile as he stares at me. And while this is a shitty in the non-swell way spot, since he could easily have flopped a set and trapped me, letting me drawing thin or completely dead in the case of pocket kings, I will remember some of the tells I brushed up on before playing and realize he is showing multiple tells indicating weakness and has shown himself capable of bluffing before, and will deduce from this that he is bluffing, so I will call after some deliberation, and he will table ace queen of diamonds for a turn combo flush and gut shot straight draw, and I will taunt him and say whoever played the worst best hand now, you clown, and not the swell type like the penis clown or dip the clown, but my taunting will be cut short like my pubes after I shave them when a 10 hits the river and dumb. As Tony G hits a straight 2 in the hand, and since he had more chips than me, I will be eliminated. At this he will start taunting me about overplaying King Jack like he did to the other guy before, like the classless prick he is, but I will be too busy getting nauseous, both from the sut out and the fact that he has a straight, and will then get ill and puke all over him like rarg 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 rarg, talk about a sick river rarg 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 rarg, peg, that was what you deserved, you non-swell kind of asshole. And then Tony will tell me what the fuck, and I will say you got a straight, and anything straight gets me sick as eyes. I'm the gayest man in the universe, and he will say, oh well, normally I beat you up for this, but I think getting eliminated is punishment enough, and everyone will clap like the pathetic simps they are, and I will be about to walk away and leave, when I pick up my box of condoms I brought with me and see a 100 chip sitting under it, which must have slipped under there when I knocked over my chips earlier. At this I will say, wait, I still have a chip and I'm still in this tournament, and Tony will say, no you're not, I put you all in, and then I will say, no you didn't, because, if you recall, you asked how much I had in front of me and counted out that much, as a bet, with neither of us knowing about the extra 100, like I didn't know about Barney's acid shit when I last slid my dick in his ass, and because you never actually announced all in, and I never did either, that means your bet on the amount you thought I had, which is 100 less than the amount I actually had, stands, and I am still left with 100 chips. At this Tony and the whole simp table will protest and call the floor over, but after hearing the situation and getting confirmation from the dealer that Tony never actually announced all in, the floor will agree with me and say I can still play, and Tony will protest again, but I will ask if he is scared of a guy with 100 chips, and he will then get all macho and say no, and I will then ask why he and the rest of the table cares if I play then. And then they will think and say let him play, so I will be allowed to sit back down, but will still be in serious trouble, as my stack isn't even a single big blind at this point. And making matters worse, that will be the last hand of the day, so I will be forced to exit the poker room and return to my hotel, knowing full well I will likely be eliminated the next hand I play the next day. This will make me upset, and I will cry inside like I wanted to win the main event bracelet so bad. I also wanted to bust Tony G to get revenge. And also the whole table ganging up on me reminds me of how everyone ganged up on me for being gay back when I was in school, and how the uploader has been treated at various points in his life, because he has autism and is different in ways he isn't often even aware of. In fact, part of the reason why I go around fucking random men is to pay them back for the trauma and dehumanizing behavior those homophobes caused me all those years ago. And just once I wanted to overcome them and beat them, but I am so pathetic I cannot even do that. Beg. I feel totally worthless, and I will then whip out my cell phone and call out the Barney bunch, and they will all pick up, and Dick the Clown will ask me out playing non-strip poker with a group which is not the local cheer squad is going, and I will say not swell at all. And then I will explain the situation, and Barney will say, Peg, that is not swell. You want me to come, and I'll come up there and shove all the objects in the famous Barney bag up his ass for being so mean to you, and I will say no, that won't be necessary, though Tony does deserve it I think. I'm sure we would be kicked out if we tried that, because unlike most group Pickles videos, this one seems to actually have consequences for my actions, and the penis clown will ask if I want to shove the broken pieces of the fourth wall up my ass to cheer me up, and I will say I am so depressed I don't think that will help, and then I will say I just want to go to sleep and forget this nightmare of a day, and they will say okay, sleep well Drew, and remember, we may be your butt buddies, but we also got your back and your back door, like and we believe in you, and I will say thanks and hang up the phone, before I mutter to myself that them believing in me is all well and good, but it doesn't mean much, because I don't even believe in myself, and with that I will turn the lights out and sleep, partly wishing the sleep would last forever so I don't have to witness the embarrassment of being busted by Tony and the pain of being excluded and outcast once again.